So good. And thank you everybody for joining. We're actually just going to get started. I'm Harmony. Thank you so much for joining. I'm happy to have you here for a much needed conversation provided by our card game HUEmanity, where we discuss the Black experience leading us not only to a safe space to have and speak our minds, but to gain a better understanding about our individual Black experiences, which do differ actually. So this game does actually foster that bond and to be able to create a stronger love and understanding between each other in our community. And, speaking of community, please share the live. We need as much family members in here as possible so we can have this much needed conversation. So we're going to get right into it. Let's go ahead and introduce our two phenomenal guests. We have not only a rapper and an actor, but a former theater kid who blossomed into a witty, talented poet and wordsmith, Mr. Justen Ross. Yes.
Work. Come on, introduction. I love that.
Yes. And we also have an Emmy Award winning film producer, rapper, and co-host of the Purse First podcast, Mr. Prince Pierre.
Hey, y'all.
Yes, put some respect on our guest today. I'm really excited to have you guys. Thank you so much for joining us in the much needed conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so excited to be here.
Are you guys ready to have some discussion?
Woo! Let's go.
Chris, you ready?
And look, it's Tuesday morning for me. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You in LA, I forgot.
Okay, so there's 3 categories in the game. Category A is society. Category B is religion and spirituality, and category C is politics. So the way it works, I'll roll the dice, and whatever letter it lands on, we will discuss from that category. Okay?
Okay.
So we're gonna roll first.
Let's see.
A.
Work.
Okay. Society. Okay. What is your stance on non-Black individual using the N-word while singing along to songs?
Don't say that shit. What?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not with it. I don't think anybody that is not African American, anybody that's not a nigger should not be saying nigger.
Right.
That's a different way to put it. Okay. That's a different way to put it.
Absolutely. Like, I think that's a great first question because it's very plain and simple. Don't say it. It's no.
As Tammy Roman said, she said, you can't say it either because you Latino.
I remember that moment. There's a lot of places where people are like, listen, these are kind of the hard rules. There's flexibility for certain things, but a lot of people are like, no, hard no, full stop.
Well, I kind of have an additional question. What are y'all's thoughts on people who are biracial singing, like black and white or black and, you think so too?
What do you think, Pierre?
I think they can say it because you don't want to. A lot of times people try to erase other people's blackness. And I feel like if people have that blackness in them and they want to experience it, they should be able to.
And it's still a Black experience.
It's still a black,
right?
Black experience. Sometimes I used to be like, it depends on the mama. Like if the mama is white, but if the mama is black, like I always say, it depends on which one is the mama.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I think that's okay too. Sometimes it gets a little tricky when the biracial person is white passing.
And they got a white mama. They got a white mama. I'm telling you, the white mama.
Should you be saying that? That's that one drop. And I know even that video has been going viral with the woman in Louisiana who's Creole, I think. She's either Creole or Cajun, but she's been like I'm black, but she looks white, and everybody's like, "Girl, you are white." Like,
oh, okay.
I definitely have to think about the Mariah Careys and the Zendayas.
For sure. If
Just
has Zendaya said it, if she would, I would fall out.
Just Jordan says, not a fan of it at all. However, growing up in New York, the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans use the term. Now, I have heard that a lot, where people use it very loosely in New York. And Ooh.
That's exactly why I said African American, because a lot of people want to be a nigga until it's time to be a nigga. And a lot of people are, well, I'm this. But when it comes down to us marching and being killed and all this other stuff, y'all want to say y'all not a part of the culture. Y'all not this. Y'all cool with it when y'all favorite artist saying nigga and y'all want to be for the cause. But those of us who have been called the N word and have to experience racism, that's when y'all don't want to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
It's something that people feel they can pick up and put down.
Right.
And when you're truly living the Black experience, you cannot choose, when to pick it up and put it down. Like, that's the thing about that. So, 100%. Ooh. I think we definitely echo those same sentiments on that question. So we're going to actually roll the dice again.
For sure. Okay.
Y'all tried that first question. Wow. Whew,
right.
It's going to be a long day.
A again. It went to society again. So we're going to go ahead. Okay. Have you ever experienced situations where you felt your racial identity was fetishized by a white or non-Black individual? If so, please describe your experience and how it made you feel.
Well, I'm Black and gay, and I've been Black and gay for a very long time. And white men love the BBC of it all. And I sometimes am in spaces where I'm with a bunch of white gays. It's not my preference, but I'm often in spaces, especially like professional. And you can always tell that white men are fetishizing and like they like me only because I'm Black. And it's weird. I always tell people white people should pay for your Blackness if it's a fetish. I truly believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been in weird situations like that before, especially like in the gay community.
Wow. Can you echo that same thing, Justin? Like, have you actually experienced that?
I have. I went to a predominantly white institution for college, and I came out in college, so like I just got my gay card like 6 years ago.
Okay.
The friends don't make that face. And so, but in school, there weren't a lot of. I've never been romantic with anybody white, but when I first came out, there were not a lot of. I felt there was a lot of white men who were like interested in me, but it was like it's just an energy. You feel that like, okay, you're not really interested in any sort of like conversation. All of our conversations have been purely sexual, and I'm still new to this whole. I'm like, it's a weird kind of like and you kind of like see it in their eye too.
Yeah.
And like at a party, it's like we're trying to talk, and I hear all of a sudden in my face, and like it's like back up.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I think I've experienced it from white men and women.
Wow.
Maybe the women even more.
Wow. Oh wow. No, I definitely I see that a lot where when it comes to fetishes, they are sexual. They are sexual when it comes to, and that has a historical context behind it. If we, it
that's the
definitely has a
reason
historical context.
that's how mixed kids started. Let's be clear.
Clock it. Clock that.
Hello?
Clock it. Clock it. And so that whole thing, and somebody in the comments just said that somebody is just Jordan. Thank you so much for joining the conversation, Jordan. He says, hell yeah, I'm a Black man. Other races look at us like Mandingo fighters. Wow.
That is true. Yeah, and I played football for a national gay football league, and like I noticed like majority of the Black players, they all have white partners, and the white men on the team, they love the Black players. They go after anybody who's Black, and I'm just like, it's crazy. Wake up, y'all! Wake up!
I don't know. Prince, have you ever had an interaction with a white man where you felt like it wasn't a fetish side? Like I always like I can't help but feel that. Like, I'm like, ooh. Immediately my mind goes to like, yeah, you.
And it's clear in the conversations and the choices of words. I feel like if you're saying a certain thing about like my skin tone a lot, and you're, you know what I mean? It's like it's clear that this is like not a natural choice, but more of a fetish.
You get to calling me daddy and king
and
all, I'll be like, it's time to go.
Too much.
Okay, Charles C. Patton says either that or they're in awe. You can actually hold a conversation, which is a microaggression. Which is a microaggression. You're saying to me, "Oh my God, I'm so surprised you're so articulate." Why does that surprise you? You have to ask those questions.
Yeah, Just Jordan said muscles. They'll talk about your physique. Like, oh my God, you're just so. Oh, I'm like, oh no. Red flag.
Oh my God. So they're going through it. John Lascelle says white women do fetishize. I was harassed at my job and smacked my butt twice, and she paid me to keep quiet. Wow. So I'm guessing she was like an exec.
Wow.
Okay. You know, there's so much conversation in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining in on this.
Somebody said, what if they were mixed black and white? Would you still not date them? I don't know if that's the question. I don't know if that's
James.
And then someone said, I hate being called white because of the way I talk. We're not there yet.
Right. Thank you, King Rimdog. Thank you so much.
I have a story where a white girl's mom offered me fried chicken. Yikes.
Ooh. Okay. Ooh, we're gonna get there. Let's roll this dice again.
Yeah.
Let's roll this dice again.
Now you had me thinking about my experiences with white people, and it just started to.
That's what somebody said in the comments. Ain't nobody offer me no chicken. I would have ate it, but
okay. So the next question is from the category C, which is politics. What thoughts or images come to mind when you hear the term white supremacy?
Oof. The boss level of a video game.
Mount Rushmore.
Blood.
Ooh.
blood again.
Bloodshed.
Children being trafficked. Sorry.
He said Trump.
Swastika. The real Isaiah said swastika.
Yeah. Shame. Like self-loathing. Like, yeah. Like the image of people, like of someone just like hating themselves. White people and people of color.
Okay.
Queer people just hate, just shame. Because can I expand on that?
Absolutely. Please.
I'm speaking in draft here. White supremacy is like such a big.
Yeah, because my images were fairly like friendly because, you know, when we hear the word, we automatically go to this evilness. But in actuality, it's around us every day, and it looks like our neighbors. It looks like the people that are walking their dogs. It looks like the happy white people.
For sure.
That's ultimately the reality. But behind closed doors, it is this evil system that's in place. But what it looks like in reality, it's your neighbor. It's the mailman. It's
for sure.
So Prince, you feel like the byproduct of white supremacy, which is the big dog, like you said, Justin, the byproduct of that is what we see day to day. So, you know, the systems of white supremacy are huge, but the remnants in the day to day that we see it trickles down into like a passive thing that we like actually interact with every day. Wow. And someone in the comments said, King Rimdog says, the pastor apologizing to me and grandma for talking about Moses and slavery. Wow. Okay.
Wow. That's interesting.
That's definitely something that I feel like when you talk about white supremacy, it is, I think I've had a lot of discussions with white people, and I tell them that if you're not a supremacist, you won't be offended by the conversations that
I
we're
tell people
having.
that all
You
the
know
time.
what I mean? When I say white supremacist, you're either on that side or you're an ally. An ally is never going to have a problem with the conversations that we're having to foster these conversations. You're not going to be uncomfortable by us even using that term because you shouldn't even fall under white supremacy. White supremacy is very bold and very, it's very obvious. It's like when you are a supremacist,
Yeah.
when you fall under that.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I also, I think people think when they think white supremacists, they think, well, I don't think I'm supreme over people, but it's not just you as a white person thinking you're better. It's also your values and the things that you believe. It's like you believe your beliefs are superior. Your God is superior. Your hate or your different outlook on life is superior. That's the thing that is more that sometimes is more or just as deadly as thinking you're superior as a white person. It's not just your whiteness, your race, but your whiteness in terms of like the culture of shame. When I was talking about shame, like there's just such a legacy, I think, in whiteness of shame. And I feel like when people, even just historically, people who desire a certain level of power, it's like they're missing something in here power wise that they need it outside. They need to feel superior. So it's like, I don't know, sometimes that shame that they feel, it manifests into like making other people feel shameful, making other people feel small. And it's just like,
Got it.
it's late.
It's late.
It's late.
All in all, it's late. Okay.
I can't see the I feel like I'm not seeing the most recent comments.
You don't see the comments?
What's the last comment you see?
From King Rimdog
That's
that says
supremacy in itself.
yes.
No one is superior to anyone. We all have red blood. I feel bad for those who feel that they are better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Wow.
Correct. Are you seeing that, Justin? Do you see that comment?
I don't, but as long as y'all read them to me, I'll be good.
Okay. We'll try our best to read everybody's. King Rimdog is definitely a part of the conversation. He says, even when there is one, there's only one like even when there is one, there's only one like Cosby Show. What did you mean by that, King Rimdog? What did you mean by that?
Because the comments before, he said there are no more black sitcoms.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Can y'all pin the HUEmanity comment? A card game for the community.
Yeah.
Can y'all pin it to the chat so it can just stay there?
Pin that. Hold on, let me see.
Oof.
Let me write that in.
Yeah, no, come on.
To be born into moral corruption is truly heartbreaking. Yes.
It is. And it makes you sick.
Okay, so let's go on to the next question. This is already a really great discussion. Okay, so B, religion and spirituality.
Oh,
y'all ready?
Lord.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Are y'all ready?
Let's do it.
I love God.
Do you love God? What's wrong with you?
Have you explored various religions or spiritual practices? If not, why haven't you? If yes, which one do you think could best meet our community's specific needs and why?
Damn.
Uh-oh. The comments about to go off. I already know.
I have a very specific take on this.
Okay.
I think that religion is a beautiful thing because it's a communal ritual that I think we need that. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think religion should also, like, I think we should all have religions for ourselves, our own religious practices. I'm somebody who I identify as spiritual. I pick and choose from different religions.
Same.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? Like I cultivate my own religious practice. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of chakra stuff here. It's a little bit of Bible verses here. It's a little bit of candle work here. You know what I'm saying? It's a culmination of things that work for me.
That work for you. 100%.
You know, and my God is an unconditionally loving God and has loved me, has had a shield over me since I was born. I know that. I feel that. And I follow that. I follow what that says to do. I follow. And so, and I think it's sad because at early ages, sometimes people have families and been brought up to snuff that voice out of them, or to tell them, this is the voice. This is what the voice of God sounds like. And it's sad because then it's a violent act to me, because you kind of lose that true divine inner guide. You know what I'm saying? But I think there's so much value to be gained from just different walks of life and different cultures, different religions. So yeah, I don't know if there's one that could benefit Black people the most. I think what could benefit Black people is to embrace the diversity of different religions.
And not be so boxed in. Is that what? Okay.
I always tell people to travel. Travel, 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 travel. I've been to about 35 countries, and you see how small your community really is. And you get to see that everything you thought was your world, that isn't everybody else's stuff. When you travel everywhere else, you got to take your shoes off. You got to worship different gods. You realize that your God and your religion and your practices and your beliefs aren't the only ones in the world. And it just opens your eyes. It makes you, one, appreciate yours much better, but two, it makes you respect and appreciate people for theirs. And that's ultimately what we should be doing with religion. I haven't practiced, but I've explored tons of other religions just to see what they're all about and to just be respectful of other people. And I just think, like Justen said, it's a really beautiful thing if done right. There are some negative parts of religion that we all know about, but ultimately, I remember when I studied psychology in college for like a semester, I learned that if you don't have any type of faith or religion, you can ultimately go insane, because you have to believe in something. And people who just don't believe in nothing, they just out here winging it.
That's true.
They out here winging it.
That is so funny.
And there are a lot of people like, I don't believe in nothing, but when life get hard, somebody get to praying to somebody.
There's a higher power you still have to reach into, right?
Somebody get to praying to somebody. When life hits you, you start start saying all types of no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Right.
Hello.
But like Justen said, if you come over my house, I got all types of witchy stuff. I got the Bible, tarot cards, the book of spells, all types of stuff. I
love it. Let's be diverse in everything, okay? Let's be diverse. And my girl Ella Brooklyn in the comments, she said, I've experienced Muslim through my husband, and I'm a devoted Christian, and we're able to coexist because in Muslim faith, they do less condemning and more uniting. So I love exploring, like you mentioned. Exactly. It's okay to explore. I think a lot of people feel like if I'm exploring, then I'm shunning my own religion.
Yeah.
And so
I think that comes from white supremacy.
It does.
Control.
Yes. And how they use the church to control. It's just violent.
Yeah,
it's just
they gave the slaves the Bible, and I read a quote somewhere that really took me away. It was like, they told Black people that our heaven is when we die, while they get to celebrate heaven on earth. And I was just like, damn.
Oh my God. Wow.
Wow. So, Black people, we struggling, and we like, it's gonna be okay when we go see my God. It's gonna be okay when we die. I'm going home to the Lord. And it's like, nah, we can have heaven on earth.
For sure. And
wow.
And even if you want to get into, I know this is sensitive for people. We could talk about this all day, but I went to Catholic high school and Catholic university.
Oh, my bad.
And it was just so fascinating to me how much they value suffering. And there's a beautiful element of suffering, and you know what I'm saying? But Jesus suffered. So be like Jesus and suffer. You know what I'm saying? And it's I think that it gets a little tricky, but another beautiful part of it is I think Black people, we're such great alchemizers. We can take the lies that we've been told and we can alchemize it and come up with something beautiful like gospel, where it's like, that is God, that ain't nothing but God.
Ooh.
And it's like, it's just so ironic, like Jesus turned water to wine. We're gonna take these lies that you give us and we're gonna make our own.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So
Clock it. Ooh. Yes. We're getting deep right here. And this is like I said, a much needed conversation. And we can definitely talk all day on one card, one question. It's the real Isaiah says goosebumps. Yes. TT Goddess says Catholics do not value suffering. Now, do you all know, I'm not really very familiar with the Catholic practice. I have family members that are Catholic, but I'm guessing TT got it. Are you Catholic?
Yeah, TT went to Catholic elementary school. So
Okay.
Him and father.
Got you.
Him and father Steve, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Even that, like, apologies for generalizing. That was just my experience going to Catholic high school and university. It's like there was always this harping on suffering.
Okay.
I know.
I get what you're saying, 100%.
Yeah, it's very optimistic. Like,
yeah,
your arm broke, but
yeah,
come to the altar.
right. There is something to be gained from suffering. I think suffering brings about humility.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You ever was feeling your stuff and it was like life said boom, and you were like, oof, humbled.
Yeah.
You know, and now you have more wisdom, you can move forward. So there is value in suffering. Sometimes I think about how maybe slave masters and white supremacist pastors told Black people that their suffering wasn't in vain.
There's a benefit
Is my
to
living in vain?
Okay. My playing the organ.
Is my playing the organ every Sunday from church to church in vain?
Ooh, I rolled that one out of frame, but it was A.
Oh,
so we're back
to
society.
Yes.
Okay. Do you engage in code switching? I actually asked this question before in the last live. Do you guys engage in code switching? And for people who don't know what that means, I don't know if that's in focus or not.
Damn. It's not.
It's not. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to read it out loud. Changing your behavior in predominantly white social settings to fit in with the expectations and behaviors commonly associated with whiteness. So do you engage in code switching?
Ask the question again.
Okay, no problem. Do you engage in code switching, which is basically changing your behavior in predominantly white social settings? So you know how people say like the customer service voice?
I don't know if you ever worked in corporate office, but like me, I'm from Chicago. I'm from the hood of Chicago, the west side of Chicago.
Come on tonight.
And I've worked in corporate America. I'm also on set with white people all the time. And my Jessica voice comes out every now and then. That's code
switching. And it's not always negative. It's not always a negative thing. It's just
it's not. I have done it. Black people do it for those 90 days until probation is over.
For sure.
Clock it. Clock
it. Until probation is over, and then that's when we feel more comfortable. But ultimately, I do think we have adopted this way of surviving. It's called code switching, but we ultimately have to pay our bills. And like I said, as a Black gay man, I've code switched. I've changed the game with code switching because now, not even to the point like what the card says, where we're switching up like your whiteness. I switch up my gayness. The other day, I got pulled over by a police officer, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, "Oh my god!" Like. Oh my god! I did not see that stop sign. Oh my god!
That's so interesting.
I gave my way out of a ticket. Like I really gave it up, and I also do that when it comes to interviews because For those who can't see me, I'm 6'1", 200. Like, I'm a big black nigga. Like, and when I come in the rooms of whiteness, I sometimes feel like people are threatened by me. So not only do I code switch, but I up the gayness so that people can feel safe and that I can ultimately get a job, or like it's literally survival. So
in your
when
words,
police,
in form of survival, a form of survival.
yes,
Okay.
Absolutely, I agree. And it's what's so crazy is, I'm 5'6",
Okay.
and when I went to school in Chicago, I went to school in Chicago, and I'd walk down the street and white people were still crossing the street. Like I'm like what? Like you're like what? And I'm not even doing anything. I'm just being. So then it makes me feel like I can't walk like this. I gotta walk like this, even though I got my big red North Face on, and you think I'm gonna rob you, I have to, oh, hi, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? And I think I try now to really check it when I'm in white. I'm not in a lot of white spaces now, but when I do go there, it's kind of like I make it a mission to be as authentic as possible. But Prince, authentic. These white people will convince you that you're getting in your own way, or that the way that you're being is like preventing you from connecting.
Respectability politics.
respectability politics.
Respectability politics. Oh, if you look this way, act this way. And, you know, the great thing about it, we're in 2024, we realized respectability politics didn't work. You know, like back in the 60s and in the 70s, when you're in suits, like you always see people very dressed nice because they tried it. We see the history of that being tried, respectability politics. And we also know in 2024, no matter how you talk, walk, and act, these things can happen to you, right? So someone in the comments says, let's see, who was it? Charles C. Patton. I like to say I'm tapping into a different version of myself rather than code switching, because we code switch depending on family members, friends, lovers. So I just tap into the version needed. Exactly right. So it's not even just crossing over and code. You can cross over and code amongst just different friend groups. I just talk different. You know what I mean? And that just shows how diverse we are. You know what I mean? So we're very diverse. We can switch back and forth.
I agree, Charles. I'm gonna start saying that. I'm tapping into a different version. I'm the avatar.
I definitely have different
I'm the avatar, goddammit.
Okay, we've ended.
Yes. Okay. A. Oh my God, we stand in society. In the last slide,
because the other ones is messy boots. Ooh, society's so safe.
My heartbeat.
Yes. A family member in the comments said earlier they already knew B and C was going to be messy. And the funny thing is, the last live, we talked a lot of it was just religion. And we're in society a lot now. So let's see. Okay. Do you hold Black-owned businesses to a higher standard in regards to services, goods, and atmosphere compared to non-Black-owned businesses? Explain your perspective.
I actually saw this on, I think y'all page. Someone answered it, and I'm like, let me prepare my answer.
Oh, yes.
But I hold Black on. Should I get a truth or should I give my Instagram live?
It's a safe space. You know.
Switches. Ultimately, what I should be doing is giving them more grace, because as a business owner, it is very hard for Black-owned businesses. It is extremely hard. We have a lot against us, and we should allow grace.
Yes.
And we should not hold them to the same standards from these white-owned businesses that are passed down from generations to generations. Walmart is not going to be the same as the little Black-owned convenience store that your grandma saved up all her 70 years of working to finally get the deposit to buy this corner store. It's just not going to be the same. So we have to allow grace. But it's something about, in reality, when we see something that is Black-owned, we instantly like put up a shield. We instantly start wanting it to be better. We instantly judge it harsher.
Yeah.
We instantly that's just what we do. And ultimately, we should really give people more grace when we're entering black-owned establishment. Now, keep in mind, some black-owned establishment, I'm like, y'all need to be shut down right now.
Right.
Um, but we should give people more grace. I went to the Harold's when it was first built out here. Y'all know I'm from Chicago, so they finally put a Harold's in LA, Harold's Chicken.
Okay.
And I ordered a 6-piece wing, and I think it was going on like an hour and 45 minutes.
Ooh.
And he was like,
Ooh.
you have to understand, we cook our food fresh. This ain't under the light like at Popeyes. And I was like, I cook chicken at home. Chicken don't take an hour and 45 minutes. Like,
right. And it's Harold's.
And it's Harold's.
I'm true to this. Like,
everybody should, baby, you know it's gonna be packed. Just put all the chicken wings in the grease and lift all of them up and have 6 pieces ready for everybody. So sometimes I'm just wondering, like, as from a business perspective, like, what are y'all back there doing? But I do think we ultimately should give black-owned businesses grace.
Okay. I think that was the same sentiment from when you heard it before as well. It's like, it's about grace. It's about resources too, and just understanding the inequity. I know this business, I think holding a business based on their resources, you know, the level of resources, like you said, Walmart versus something else, the level of resources is completely different. So there has to be grace there. What about you, Justen? You feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. I feel like Prince touched on the grace, so I don't have too much to say, but I do think that, like, sometimes when we go to white businesses or any other business that isn't black and there's poor service, we don't chalk it up to it being because they white or because they Latino. It's just like, oh, girl, they just
why everybody
they
say Latino like that? Why everybody say Latino?
What I say? I said Latino. I said Latina. But I should have hit you with that Latinx.
Latinx.
But yeah, but when it's black people, it's like, child, you know them black folks, when there is, there's not a lot of equity in the resources. So yeah, I agree with Prince. I give grace.
Okay. And we it's a one and done when it comes to black owned. Like, I'm sitting up here thinking, like, I go to Dave's Hot Chicken like every day, and sometimes they mess up my order, and I still go every day. Black establishment, they mess up your order one time, you like, never again. Never again.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I've actually found with black businesses is they actually do care about giving quality, and quality is difficult. Like, quality is in a society that values numbers, that values quantity. Baby, we're gonna give you that fake chicken. We're gonna give you that fake thing so you can give us the money. But when I see black businesses, they're like, we take this from the farm and do. And that's more difficult to sustain.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. All those things have to be factored in for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Ooh.
A again.
Nope, we got B.
Come on, religion.
We got religion and spirituality. Okay. Have we done a political card?
No. Well, we did one.
Okay. Has anything ever caused you to doubt or question your spiritual or religious beliefs? If so, what? If not, please explain how you were able to maintain such a strong faith.
I remember in college, around 18 and 19, I was going through this phase where I was just like, I don't believe in nothing. I'm not religious. That's when everybody was like, I'm spiritual. But It was more so because I had just came out and everyone was like, oh, you going to hell. Like, people were using their religions against me, whether it was my mom or stuff like that. So I started and this was, how old am I? I went to college in 2007.
Well, that sounds fun.
So this was when, being gay was, we were fighting to get married and all this other stuff. So it was very religious versus the gays.
Yes.
So I went through a very small phase where I was just like, I'm done with Christianity. I'm done with all this other stuff. And, I thought that all these churches were so against gay people. That's when the lady was like, I'm so sick of sissies. I don't know what to do. Uh, so that was my growing up. That's how I saw Christianity. So I was like, yeah, it's a wrap for me. But growing up and becoming an adult and being able to read the Bible myself and being able to explore religion myself, I saw the light. I came right back to the light, and I found churches that accept me. I found pastors that accept me. I love my pastor. Shout out to Pastor Dre.
Yeah.
And yeah, I explored on my own, and I found a light that works for me.
Wow. So it was basically when you came down to a moment where you almost felt like you had to choose between your sexuality and your religion. You were like, well, listen, you know what I mean? That's very interesting. What about you, Justen?
Yeah. I actually, I really don't think, if I'm being honest, there's been a moment where I have lost my faith. Like I said, I remember having like spiritual gifts very soon. Like I would hear things that I was like, why did I just hear that? I would understand and know things that I didn't know why I knew them and understood them. And, I grew up I didn't really go to church every Sunday, but like I would go to church camp and stuff like that. So I kind of would it felt like love. It felt like divine, whatever you call it. It was like God ordering my steps, and it has never led me astray. And so what I will say is there were moments where I have been like, why is this happening? Like, I never thought you're not, like, there's nothing, but I have thought that thing that is here, why are you doing this? Or why are you leading me here? Why is this happening? Why do I have to experience this? Why do I have to go through this? And, even then, it's like on some of those days, it would just give like, I would stop hearing the voice. I would stop understanding things, and it would be like, okay, well, where did it go? But I don't know. Something in me just always trusted that it would come back.
Okay.
So
there was a question there, but it was never really a doubt. But you had a question.
For sure.
Had a question. Okay.
For sure.
Just Jordan in the comments says, my pastor was cheating with his mistress and had her in the same row as his wife. It made me question a lot. I said, something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
I mean, and that's something that a lot of people, they echo that sentiment where there's a lot of contradictions that they see, and it causes them to question the whole thing. It's very important for the leaders to sustain, a consistent lifestyle, because people are following you and seeing these things, and it's going to cause them to question what's going on here, and a lot of my friends have said that, especially as it pertains to being in the LGBT community, is like they compare, okay, heterosexual, what's the word, being promiscuous or those types of things heterosexually. How is that not viewed the same way as you're viewing someone being committed, but being committed with the same gender? So it's a lot of questions that are there. The real Isaiah says the church is the messiest place, but they hate on gays. Okay. Ooh. And a lot of people do really feel that way. A lot of people do. Weird. Oh my God. Let me try to roll this dice into frame.
You got A again?
Yes, because I think it's the way that I'm trying to be gentle.
Right.
Okay. That one is B. Okay. Yeah. This is where we're supposed to be today. This is where we're supposed to be today. Have you ever encountered colorism within a religious institution? This is religion and spirituality.
Maybe not consciously.
Yeah, I
don't know. I don't know if it was a thing where it was like, that's colorism. Like, I can tell that's colorism. But it may have been a thing of like, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I have, because it's colorism. But
for sure,
I've never even thought about that. I was too busy worried about being gay in church, let alone being
all of the things. There is just so many things to Okay.
Wow, colorism, and no, I haven't consciously thought of it. Sorry, y'all.
In the church, no, but maybe subconsciously somewhere, like I'm sure somewhere there is some spiritual leader who, like, through colorism gives more grace to like lighter skinned people.
Because um, I'm trying to think of all the churches I've been to and what was the complexion of the first lady. And I'm like,
That,
damn, I
yes.
don't think I know no dark skinned first ladies.
Okay.
Shit.
So basically, if it can happen in a religious institution, we are in religious institutions, we are still communing as we would in the school. Like the conversations we can have with friends, like you might be in Bible study, colorism maybe can pop up just within conversations in the religious institutions. That's what I can think of, but not necessarily specific to the religious institution. Okay, that's what you're saying. Okay. Okay. And let's look in the comments. King Rimdog says he gets told he's not black enough by his own mother. Wow. And okay, so he said he has in the religious institution. Okay, so King Rimdog, if you don't mind, what is your ethnicity? Are you actually mixed, or it sounds like he might be mixed, right?
Yes. Oh. Sorry, you made me laugh, Harmony. That made me laugh.
What did I say?
I don't know what your ethnicity is.
No.
But
oh yeah, he's mixed because he said his mother said he's not. So he's not black enough from his mother's perspective. So who is black? Is it your mother or your father?
His mama probably black.
Okay. We're gonna roll the dice while we wait on that. Wow, that's interesting too.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, I knew it. His mom's black. His mom is black.
Mom's black, and your mom says you're not black enough.
You're the biracial whisperer.
I'm the.
We finally got C.
Oh Lord.
Politics. Okay. Okay. How do you feel about the annual celebration of Black History Month?
It's super important. I think it's super important because Black history is super important in the United States of America. We built this country, and our stories should be told. I do think we should find a way to celebrate it better, but I love Black History Month. I think it's a reason it's there, and I just hate that I feel like St. Patrick's Day, Columbus Day, like we know all about all of these days and holidays, and they're like celebrated within our community. I feel like white people, like Black History Month needs to be for white people. Like those are the people that be like, I don't need to learn about Harriet Tubman no more. I promise you I know everything she did. I promise you I know everything Rosa Parks did. I know everything Martin Luther King did. White people, this is y'all month that y'all need to be in those books. Become educated. It's not for us. It's the same like we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. We be celebrating Cinco de Mayo. We be down to the Latin community eating all types of tacos and everything for Mexican Independence Day. Black History Month, the white people need to be learning their history. They need to be finding out about the ancestors that built this country. Somebody said, "Where's our Shamrock Shake?"
I'm done. Not the Shamrock Shake. You know what?
I agree with. I like Black History Month too. I agree with Prince though that it is for white people, and I think that it's like the Black history that like white people subscribe to, people learning during that month. I'm sorry, but I need some deep cuts. You know what I'm saying? Like Prince is right. We can only hear that Rosa said no so many times. Like there's so many other deep cuts. Do people know that Harriet Tubman was using astrology and the star. Like, I need deep cuts. Like, I don't know. I'm some, and I feel like that's gonna take more than a month to explore. Like, I love when people say like Black History Month is every month, because it's true. Like, even in my own practice, like I've tried to like practice learning more about some of my ancestors, and especially Black artists and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think the power is in the people. Who told us? Somebody told us that February was the month that we focus on this. But if Black people as a unit decide like, oh no, but yeah, in September, this is the month where we talk about Black, I feel like we have the power to give it value or whatever,
and
you know?
in college, did you all go to HBCUs or PWIs?
I went to a PWI because, my elementary and high school were 100% Black. I went to a Black elementary school, a Black high school.
Okay.
So I knew.
You knew the difference and you knew what was going on. And when I mean, going to HBCU, I went to Howard, it was like every day felt like Black History Month. And that's when you start to learn about people that, okay, so when you mention Harriet Tubman, when you mention these people, they are what white curriculum has set as the forefront, right? When you go to HBCU, you learn these players that were even just as influential, but not really mentioned. In modern day, Toni Morrison, you know, these people that, every day is Black History when you're at HBCU.
Yeah.
Just Jordan says more.
I used to also have an issue with those people, but I don't really so much, because a lot of Black people I felt like became Black at HBCUs, but I ain't gonna go into that.
It's
Ooh, that's another card. That's another
because,
card.
like you said, every day is Black at Howard, which I specifically have a thing for the Howard students. But I grew up Black. I grew up Black. So a lot of times I'm in conversations with people who learn Blackness through their HBCUs and learn about, like, I grew up Black. Like, I knew about I knew about all this before college. I knew my teachers were Black. My neighborhood was Black. I knew nothing but Blackness. College was actually a culture shock for me, because I'm like, oh, Asian people exist. Oh, white people exist. Spanish people exist. Like, I didn't know. I thought the world was white and Black. I didn't even know about all these other cultures. That's what college taught me. Where on the opposite end, a lot of people not all, but a lot of people that go to HBCUs, their whole world was whiteness. And then they went to this HBCU and was like, "Oh, Black people exist too." Like,
and then turn around and criticize Black people who go to PWIs. It's like, oh, you're not from Atlanta. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, like, you went to a PWI. Here's the thing about my PWI. I went to Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. People say it is the HBCU of the Midwest. I had more Black students than any other HBCU. Like, so my PWI wasn't like a lot of people think PWI is just the whiteness everywhere. We have my homecoming king was Black. Everything was Blackness at my school. It was just a PWI.
Because if you value Blackness and you value Black people, you will find them.
No, 100%. And Prince, what's funny is I transferred to Howard. So I'm from North Carolina. So I came from PWI. I came from PWI, and I saw the difference, and I love that I was able to experience both, because it's a whole different experience. Like you said, you can still have that Black experience anywhere, for sure. And somebody in the comments said, Charles C. Patton says, now we're talking about the elitism that is cultivated at HBCUs. Listen, okay. And that's a whole conversation.
You need some expansion pack.
Clock it. You're right here. You're right here. Yes.
No, this is a good game.
Yes. Oh my God.
Coco DVN says, the Black community at PWIs do stick together. That's true. That's true. That's beautiful. And we are getting, to the end of our live. I want to ask one last question for you guys. So if you guys could take anything away from this conversation, what would it be?
Community is so important. I have games like this. I'm a game head. I play nothing but games, especially like black games. I have like tons of games. And you learn more about each other when we talk, when we actually have these conversations. So I really appreciate HUEmanity, and like I can't wait to play it with my friends.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And I love that what you said. And when you play it with your friends, it gets even more intimate. We on live, so we still being a little cute.
Exactly.
I know Pierre was like, "Can I say this?" But when you play it with your friends,
and they drinking.
Hello. That's that'll be
you're really gonna go there.
Imagine,
okay. What about you?
Imagine being drunk and it's like, what images of white supremacy pop up? Yeah, crackers.
It can get deep, okay? So, and what's the most significant thing you feel like you learned about each other?
Oh, Justin.
Well, Fran, this is really our first time like speaking in person, but we like cyber cousins.
Yeah,
like, on
yeah.
the internet.
Which I love.
I've looked up to him for a minute. Like,
we share a lot of the same experiences, even though I think there's an age gap. I think I'm younger than him.
Oh, you played.
Yeah, we share a lot of the same experience, even though there's an age gap.
Okay.
Agreed. And I think also there's a way to explore. I learned that there's a way to explore these conversations with humor, with grace, and I don't know. It's fun. I've learned just like, for instance, direct. It's a very this, and I love that because sometimes I'm like, okay, what's the right answer? You know, it's like this.
I love that discussion games, you know, definitely bring you to a better understanding. Like, okay, I think I know this person. And you just, like you're saying, you're rolling the dice. You don't know what question is going to bring you to that understanding of the person you're talking to. So it's a very beautiful thing. Coco says, Justin, I'm super proud of you, brother.
I love
King Rib Dog says we need to stick together instead of fight each other. 100%. And that's what this is made to foster those stronger bonds. Like, we need to be having conversations amongst ourselves is the biggest thing. And working on those things that we feel are important. Someone says, okay, hold on. I saw this comment. I think Coco says she really needs the game. Yes. Charles C. Patton says, I need this game for real. Listen, follow the HUEmanity page after we are done on this live, and I will send you a 20% off code. So you can have these discussions with your family as well. I'm excited to see, you know, the conversations. And the love was, thank you everybody for joining in the conversations. The comment section was lit. And I really feel like, you know, the love was felt. Thank you so much for joining in on that. You know, and stay tuned because we have more conversations on live to come, and we definitely want you all here to join and be a part of the family. So thank you so much, Justin, and thank you, Prince, for being a part of our much needed conversation. Thank you so much. And I do feel closer to you guys, and I mean, literally just met you, so it's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.